Hello and welcome inside of Keyworth Stadium for tonight's USL W League clash between your Detroit City Football Club and AFC Ann Arbor. My name is Jarrett Mackey. Thank you guys so much for joining us on CBSDetroit.com or on the Detroit City FC YouTube channel. LaRouge comes into tonight's match fresh off a tightly contested and at times chippy 0-0 draw on the road to Kalamazoo FC in the midweek. Detroit City FC had the better of the chances over the 90 minutes, but the Kalamazoo keeper stood tall to answer the call on a few occasions. Most notably, Hannah Crum had a one-on-one opportunity saved, and then Emily Paget sort of took a quick reflex shot inside of the area, which required a great save out of the Kalamazoo keeper to ensure both teams would be walking away with a draw. Obviously, longtime fans of Detroit City FC will remember AFC Ann Arbor from the NPSL days. A lot of history between these two clubs ahead of tonight's matchup. Of course, the first ever game for Detroit City FC here at Keyworth Stadium was against AFC Ann Arbor, that one ending in a 1-1 draw. As the teams come out onto the field now, everyone is marching out and getting ready. A lot of familiar faces in tonight's lineup for Detroit City FC. As we take a look at the starting 11 here, Gabby Shriver retains her place in goal. Ella Offer, woman of the match last time out here at Keyworth Stadium. Then the back line of Avery Peters and Acadia Murphy remains unchanged. In the midfield, Tatiana Mason, number 55 for Detroit City FC, played for AFC Ann Arbor last season, so little chip on her shoulder this evening. And then the forwards, Hannah Crum and Faith Weber, gets her first appearance of the season this evening here at Keyworth Stadium. So interested to see what she'll bring to this Detroit City FC sort of roster so far this season. We've seen a lot of talent going forward. Hannah Crum's been heavily involved. Detroit City FC without Lily Jekyll this evening, without Adele Francis this evening. So we'll see what Faith Weber's got, what she's able to add to this team. As we see right there, Tatiana Mason mentioned she played for AFC Ann Arbor last season, was crucial in their success at times that they had last year. But I asked her about that on training on Thursday. If there's a special chip on her shoulder coming into this one, and kind of gave a wry smile and said, yeah, we're ready for the game and hope to get 3 points. So as everything is getting set here, just waiting on the captain, Gabby Shriver, to be added to this mix for the starting 11 photo. Of course, it's K9s at Keyworth night here at Keyworth Stadium, so a lot of dogs on hand. Detroit City FC looking to pick up another win. Currently, they're top of the USL W League standings after 5 matches. 13 points, a record of 4-1-0. AFC Ann Arbor sits third currently with 10 points, but as we all know, in the USL W League, points per game is the top dog in this division. Detroit City FC has 2.6 points per match, whereas AFC Ann Arbor has 1.67. AFC Ann Arbor, kind of a chip on their shoulder coming into this one, looking to bounce back from a tough 4-1 drubbing on the road to Midwest United in the midweek. Had to travel all the way to the west side of the state and just didn't really ever get going in that one. AFC Ann Arbor was down 3 goals within the first 20 minutes of that match, so sort of was over before it started. So we'll definitely want to look and start hot here this evening as the final pep talk gets going. Dave Dwahey and his staff down there. A lot of history, of course, between these two. AFC Ann Arbor's head coach, Kevin Taylor, used to suit up for Detroit City FC. Him and Dave Dwahey shared a warm moment before kickoff, kind of just laughing that they're both here on the sidelines for their respective clubs. As we see Kate Childers walking out to the midfield. So final preparations complete here at Keyworth Stadium, getting ready for kickoff here in the W League as Detroit City FC looks to pick up a massive win to keep the good times rolling here. I keep wanting to say early in the season, but with how fast this W League season kind of just takes off, we're already at the halfway point here. So now is when, the early points you put on the board in the start of the season, they really pay off in these tricky games when you have 2, sometimes 3 games a week. So I believe that's Faith Weber gets things started, and we are underway here at Keyworth Stadium. Detroit City FC passing amongst themselves, playing out of the back. We've seen it happen time and time again this season. A lot of the the attacking success has come from when LaRouge just played out of the back, most notably through Ella Offer on that far side. But Maya Sulis has been pushing forward as well these last couple matches with the absence of Drew Martin from this week's starting 11. A great switch out wide tried to get to Offer. I think Sophia Romine wanted to get that one covered, but regardless, it goes the way of AFC Ann Arbor. A great flick over in the midfield. That one's going to be played all the way through. Lena Barra's going to get beaten to it there by Maya Sulis. A great bit of defending early on there from the fullback. As Detroit City FC looks to build here, Hannah Crum's making a good run down the middle of the pitch, but it's cleared away by Katie Faug. Good turn there by Romine. Been heavily involved since joining the squad a couple weeks ago. Of course, her last 2 matches here at Keyworth Stadium have been marked with 2 incredible goals, probably goals of the season as things stand. So hoping to add a third to that. There's no way she does it 3 games in a row, right? AFC Ann Arbor now looking to get some time on the ball. Promoli gets it back over to Barra. Barra plays it forward. A great cutout there by Kate Childers in the midfield. Katia Murphy's been ever present in the Detroit City FC back line so far this season. When she's been available, we see a misplaced pass right there. Sort of a collector's item. She's usually pretty stout when playing out of the back. A great step there by Emily Paget. Nearly gets it over to Romine, but just one too heavy of a touch prevents that. Coming all the way back to the goalkeeper and then being just blasted forward up the pitch. Childers now. That was a clever flick there from Weber, just no one really in the neighborhood. Avery Peters with some defensive work to do. A great, just kind of threw a foot in there to prevent Natalia Saab from getting there. And then, wow, Avery Peters. We talk about her competency on the ball and how impressive it is and how it stems from the fact that she used to be a midfielder, and we're seeing it on full display here early on as Faith Weber tries to poke a ball through to Romine. Cut out well there by Tiffany Hollingsworth as that one goes out for a Detroit City FC throw in deep in AFC Ann Arbor's half of the pitch. Childers now plays it into the box. No one really except for Hannah Crum, who might have been in an offside position, but Tatiana Mason applying the pressure all the way back to Avery Peters. Peters gets it over to Paget, who's been one of the star players for Detroit City FC this season. Hannah Crum now flicks it up to Mason. Great job by Tatiana Mason to settle things, but a unlucky bounce off the turf. Gets it back to Kate Childers. Hannah Crum now, edge of the area, cuts it down to her left. Hannah Crum goes for it, deflected, and took a lot of the sting out of it and calmly into the hands, and it's back with the visitors. That was Holly Brown with the save. A good positive first 3 minutes here for Detroit City FC. See a throw in here. That one's crossed in. Brown, that looked routine, but for a second she looked a little bit put off by it. That's a great goalkeeper kit. Pink's an underused color, I think, in kids. So good to see that on display here at Keyworth Stadium. Ann Arbor trying to play out of the back now. Nearly cut out there by Tatiana Mason, but it gets to Lena Barra in the midfield. Lena Barra's been a familiar figure to AFC Ann Arbor supporters and those keeping up with their squad. Usually heavily involved with that program. Good header in the midfield there by Kate Childers. Gets it over to Mason. A good little triangle of play from Detroit City FC. And that opens up players further up the pitch, especially Ella Offer on that far side, who gained about 5 to 10 yards of space just from that clever triangle. So you see the importance of playing quick and these short little passes with interesting angles on them, as Maya Sulis is going to have some space here on this near side. Has Hannah Crum and Faith Weber up with her. Elects to go to Crum cutting inside. That'll be a throw-in for Detroit City FC. Maya Sulis now dribbling inside. A left-footed ball comes into the area. Sophia Romine was making a far post run. Let's see if she keeps this one in. We'll do just that. Sophia Romine's space out wide. Gets it over to Childers. Childers has Paget with her in the box. A great touch by Childers to take it outside. That one's going to be cleared away. And it'll be another throw-in for Detroit City FC. The ball kid comes onto the field momentarily. I love that. Yeah, that's tenacity from the ball kid there. That left-footed ball is going to come in. Hannah Crum's in the middle. Popped up, Tatiana Mason running onto it. And we say that, I feel like I say this every time Hannah Crum goes up for headers. Not the tallest player on the field, but always seems to be in a position to win headers. And I think, just outsmarts the defender she's going up against and gets there earlier than she does, not even from a height perspective. As Peters, a great ball into Paget in the midfield. Romine now. A good ball to Romine, and we see that flick there once again from Paget. Tried to find Weber this time. It was the same area where Weber tried it just a few minutes ago, but this time someone was there. Childers tries to pop it up into space, but it's going to go the other way. Cleared all the way down the line. Acadia Murphy's going to have some defensive work to do. Avery Peters ends up being the one to poke it away from Natalia Saab. Great job there. Great step by Avery Peters to keep it for Detroit City FC. All the way back to Gabby Shriver in goal. Of course, Shriver named the USL W League goalkeeper of the month for the month of May, only allowing 1 goal in over 300 minutes of play. She hasn't been called upon too frequently. It's been a great defensive stand by Detroit City FC's back line so far this season. But when she has been called upon, she's stepped up and made some crucial saves. You think back to the Detroit City FC win over Flint City AFC here at Keyworth. Things kind of got a little bit nervy at the end. It was 2-1 later on in that match, and Shriver came up with some huge saves to give Detroit City FC all 3 points. A great diagonal run through the middle there by Faith Weber, just maybe out-muscled a little bit by Katie Faug. But a good press from Romine and Crum. They're pressing really cleverly in putting the AFC Ann Arbor. They're making the AFC Ann Arbor back line definitely think about where the press is going to come from, as Ella Offer does well to hold off Vivian Permonen. Back to Peters. Peters advancing the ball into some space. Great job to get it inside to Tatiana Mason. Mason with her back, I almost said back to goal, but back to the midfielders. Katia Murphy picks out a pass. You saw Faith Weber. Faith Weber, of course, has the speed on most of the players she'll come up against, and nearly right there got a lucky bounce, but it'll go out for a AFC Ann Arbor goal kick. So 7.5 minutes into this one so far, it's been Detroit City FC directing traffic. Holly Brown settles things down. This AFC Ann Arbor team could use just a steady sell of possession, allow themselves to kind of get in this game and dictate play. So far, it's been Detroit City FC doing all of that. As we nearly cross the 8-minute mark, Maya Sulis just heads that one out of play, slows things down just a little bit. All the way back to Peters. Mason now on the turn. Gets her head up. She's off her all the way on that far side. I spoke to Coach Dwayhe after the last game here against Cleveland Force, and I just asked him, how are teams leaving Ella Offer that much space on the far side? He didn't have an explanation for it. So 8 minutes in, we're seeing sort of the same thing again this evening. Hannah Crum tried to press, but it's going to be played all the way out. And for a second, I thought that was going to go out of play, but it ended up being a great ball to this near side touchline. Let's see what AFC Ann Arbor can do with it. It was attempted to be played in by Sandra Peterson, but it's cut out by Murphy before being played all the way forward. And Detroit City FC gets a throw in. Sophia Romine trying to take this one quickly, but it was unable to be corralled. Tatiana Mason, a great switcher play, finds Ella Offer on that far side. Offer now operating in a familiar position along that touch line as Faith Weber is played outside and tried to dribble past the defender, but does well to earn a corner. So Detroit City FC's first corner of the afternoon comes via Faith Weber. So we see some good work down there by Detroit City FC's ops crew. As Tatiana Mason runs over to take this one against her former club. On a couple of occasions so far this season, she's come close to just putting it into the back of the net on a corner, so we'll see if we get another jump scare in that regard as this corner served in. It's a really well-placed ball. Holly Brown struggled with it. Acadia Murphy's up for it, just kind of swung a leg at it, had an unkind angle to her. Great battle there from Ella Offer to maintain possession for Detroit City. Comes all the way back out to Maya Sulis. There's all the time and space in the world. Does well to find Murphy, who's sort of in a right back position. Avery Peters calmly gets that one under her feet, and Natalia Saab's going to have to win the battle another time. Great ball forward by Shriver. It was a great first touch there by Faith Weber to calm things down. Tried to find in Paget and Crum, who were making decent diagonal runs through the AFC Ann Arbor back line, but to no avail. Maya Sulis, a good step from her, but a dangerous one is now Detroit City FC. Kind of limited with numbers going backwards, but everyone does well to kind of clamp back in as Ella Offer has some defensive work to do on that far side. And just sees that one out of play brilliantly for a goal kick. So Gabby Shriver now her second goal kick of the afternoon. Underway once again through Murphy. A great run there by Faith Weber. She could be in some space here. Cuts back inside. Tiffany Hollingsworth. Faith Weber comes in, and wow. I said a couple minutes ago that Holly Brown didn't seem too comfortable from that cross that came in, and right there we see it again. A great job by Faith Weber to create the space for the shot, and it ended up being saved in the end, but not comfortably from the visiting goalkeeper. Romine goes all the way back to Peters. Back out wide to Ella Offer. Offered as well to cut it inside to Faith Weber. A great turn from Weber. The right-footed shot comes in, and that one goes off of the post and back into play. So a sigh of relief there for AFC Ann Arbor. I think Holly Brown would have been beaten on that one, but it cannons off of the post. And Detroit City FC, we've seen this time and time again, just turning up the pressure slowly, trying to find that opening goal. Romine now cutting inside. This is where she shot from before. Elects to lay it off. Kate Childers as well. Sophia Romine, right-footed effort. Sophia Romine! Are you joking? 3 consecutive matches, 3 consecutive bangers here at Keyworth Stadium. When is it going to end? Take a bow, Sophia Romine. It's 1-0 Detroit City FC. Unbelievable, folks. I said there's no way she does it 3 games in a row. And she just goes and proves me wrong. That's unbelievable from number 71. I'm laughing, folks, because that's awesome. That is awesome. It's 1-0 Detroit City FC. And, of course, with it being the month of June, that goal was worth $1,724.69 for the Northern Guard supporters. Ruth Ellis Center 2024 Pride Raiser campaign. If you scan the QR code on your screen right now, you can make the next goal at Keyworth Stadium worth even more for the Ruth Ellis Center in the 2024 Pride Raiser campaign. That one, of course, being worth $1,724.69. Add that to the tally. And I said this with her goal against Cleveland. That one ought to be worth double. I think that one is my favorite one of the 3 so far. It was sort of outside of the boot, right-footed. That's unbelievable from Sophia Romine. But the goal had been coming for Detroit City FC. They kind of been dictating play that first 12 minutes or so, had a few half chances. But right there, opening the scoring, we'll see how that changes things. It came late against Cleveland last, obviously the last time we were at Keyworth Stadium. So we'll see if that changes things a little bit. AFC Ann Arbor has to come out of their shell. They have to attack the game now if they want to get anything out of tonight's contest. Hannah Crum, a really clever job by Crum there to retain possession. Her shirt was being pulled. She goes to ground. Referee's going to let that one. She's going to blow the whistle, but she's going to let it slide in the sense that no cards are coming out. Unbelievable for Detroit City FC. It's going to be hard to find a player with a better goal catalog in the history of the club at home games than so far that Sophia Romine's putting together. 3 for 3, batting 1,000 here at Keyworth Stadium. A great ball nearly found Faith Weber, who was making a clever run past the AFC Ann Arbor defenders. Romine now on the turn. A great job to maintain possession, but bounces off the turf and goes the other way. That was Lena Barra coming through for AFC Ann Arbor. Romine on the ball now, gets it over to Hannah Crum. That one goes out of play, and Hannah Crum once again goes to ground. She's kind of looking at the referee like, we going to let this continue or what? Maya Sulis tried to find Romine. Lena Barra cuts it out. It'll be a throw-in for Detroit City FC. Sulis. Good touch and control there by Hannah Crum, but it's poked away. Referee's going to blow the foul on that one. So in the last 2 minutes, Hannah Crum, it's kind of like Hack-a-Shack, but with Hannah Crum. So Detroit City FC earning a free kick in what could be a dangerous position. You kind of just put it into the mixer. In a lot of ways, this is similar to a corner, but that one's going to come all the way in. And I think the offside flag might have come up there, or it was a perfectly timed run. But regardless, Holly Brown was unable to come out and claim it, and that kind of put everyone on edge here at Keyworth Stadium. But Detroit City FC, since the goal, they have not changed their game plan at all. We know what they're going to try to do. They're still going to play out of the back. They're going to attack the game, and it makes for a really fun watch here at Keyworth Stadium. And I'm sure it's a great watch on cbsdetroit.com as well. So we'll see it again here. Just that clever little turn and then outside of the boot into the upper 90. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous from Sophia Romine. So we're back underway here at Keyworth. Tatiana Mason does well to win it back for her side, but only momentarily as it's dribbled out of danger from the visitors. Back into the midfield. AFC Ann Arbor really playing a narrow game right now, keeping all of the play inside of the middle of the park, and this one's going to have Shriver come off of her line and claim it. There's a clever run by Vivian Permonen, but into the hands of Shriver, who was quick to recognize the danger of it. Great job by Faith Weber on the turn. She's been excellent so far with her back to goal in hold-up play situations. Really clever possession won there in the midfield by Kate Childers. All the way out to Maya Sulis. AFC Ann Arbor now. All very similar to Cleveland Forest. They just need a couple minutes where they're on the ball, they're maintaining possession, they're dictating play. Because so far it's been all Detroit City FC doing that. AFC Ann Arbor have had a couple of opportunities where maybe they've had numbers in kind of dangerous situations, but nothing that would make Detroit City FC sweat thus far. As Sophia Romine tries to switch play all the way out wide to Hannah Crum, who's going to do well to keep it in, just stops the ball on a dime, and now is up against the goal line and the AFC Ann Arbor defender. That one's going to come all the way into the mixer. Headed up, and in front of goal, it's Faith Weber, and it's 2-0 Detroit City FC. Just like that, a great play from Sophia Romine to find Hannah Crum on the goal line. You put a dangerous cross into an area, and there's a free header yards out from the goal, and Faith Weber is going to make you pay for it. It's 2-0 Detroit City FC. Faith Weber, take a bow, scores in her first appearance for the club this season. And just like that, 18 minutes gone, it's already 2-0 Detroit City FC. If you're AFC Ann Arbor, similar to what we saw against Midwest United in the midweek, 20 minutes in, you're already chasing, and the chasing has to pick up soon. So Detroit City FC now operating from a position of even more power than they had before. And they're not going to slow down, folks. If there's one thing that they're going to do, they're going to keep their foot on the gas, especially the extra onus of it being June. As speaking of which, you scan the QR code on your screen right now. You can make the next goal at Keyworth Stadium worth even more money for the NGS Pride Raiser campaign benefiting the Ruth Ellis Center. Sophia Romine's goal was worth over $1,700, and Faith Weber's right there was worth $1,724.69. So already nearly $3,500 raised. 20 minutes into this game. Let's get that number higher, folks. That one goes out of play for a throw-in. We'll see it again here. Like I said, Hannah Crum did so well to keep that ball alive. It was a header from AFC Ann Arbor, actually, and a great job by Emily Paget to get up for that one and play it across to Faith Weber. And it's hard to miss that one. I think I would have scored that one, which is saying a lot, folks. That's really saying a lot. Tatiana Mason now getting all the way out wide to Maya Sulis. Good job coming a little bit deeper on that occasion to get involved in the play. Sophia Romine as Emily Paget tried to get a foot on that one. It's going to come out to Kate Childers on the far side. Has space in to whip a ball to the mixers. A couple people in the Detroit City FC attacking zone, and no one really communicated right there. Sophia Romine's going to go for it, and yeah, I mean, why not at that point? The second that ball was coming out to her edge of the area, knew she was going to fashion a shot on the volley. That's one we haven't seen yet, is on the volley. So I'm sure she'll want to add that to her goal catalog. Ann Arbor now just looking to get a foothold in the game, slowing things down just a little bit. I think it's all happening just a little bit too fast for them so far after 21.5 minutes of play here. Already in a pretty deep hole, 2-0 down, and that's not going to help out much as Hannah Crum gets pulled. The referee's going to blow the whistle on that one. And it's about the third time her shirt's been pulled, but I've yet to see a yellow card brandished for it. That one comes all the way in and not really fully dealt with by AFC Ann Arbor as Maya Sulis gets out to Hannah Crum. Hannah Crum throws a leg at it, and that one into the hands of Holly Brown. So this Detroit City FC team is playing with a lot of confidence right now, obviously because of the scoreline. But before then, all season, this team has just turned a corner in terms of playing with confidence and believing that they can score from those kind of angles, or they can make that pass or do a clever flick on. And so far, it's proved dividends for Detroit City FC. That one's going to come all the way out wide. And unlike that second goal, it's going to go out for a goal kick to Holly Brown. 23 minutes gone, and I really can't point to a moment yet where AFC Ann Arbor has made Detroit City FC sweat yet. So they're going to have to change that if they're going to want anything out of this match. It's going to be a tough week for them otherwise, having lost 4-1 in the midweek on the west side of the state, to then coming here and struggling to get things going early on for themselves. Such a quick season, this USL W League season. You know, you're already at 1.67 points per match, so a loss here, just with how strong the Great Lakes division is, would put them in a bad spot if they have playoff aspirations. And this one's a little tricky. Shriver was off of her line. I think she had faith in Avery Peters right there, but it does well to come off of her line, get a foot to it, and Lena Barra thought she was going to take that one, but leaves it for a teammate. So AFC Ann Arbor with sort of a deep throw in here. Well won back there from Detroit City FC. It's Tatiana Mason on the ball, of course, played for AFC Ann Arbor last season. It's going to be a throw-in once again. Really clever job there by Faith Weber to anticipate where the ball was going to bounce off of the turf. Romine pressing, but that one kind of just slips its way through. Tatiana Mason might have some defensive work to do. That ball's going to come all the way in. Lena Barra was there at the far post, but a great job by Shriver to recognize that she could have some work to do. And it was really calm the way that Shriver did that. It just shows the experience that she has, recognizing and reading the different ways that ball could have bounced off the turf. Romine comes all the way back and has so much space to operate in the midfield. And just drives forward through the AFC Ann Arbor midfield. Cuts it out over to Kate Childers. Childers now right-footed ball into the area. Yet again, it was Faith Weber who was queuing up for it, but it's going to stay in. Romine, yeah, she was going to cut that one back and then rip it with the left foot. But luckily for Holly Brown and AFC Ann Arbor, we didn't have to get to that point. Kept alive well there by Amy Kamori. Emily Paget nearly cuts that one out. And did a really good job on the Detroit City FC's second goal to keep things where they were. Romine is everywhere on the field. She really is everywhere on the pitch. Maya Sulis gets it over to Tatiana Mason. Mason with some space and time gets it over to Peters. Avery Peters has Offer, who's offering herself up for the ball. Emily Paget had Offer on that far side. I think I can hear Offer from up here asking why that ball didn't come to her. She was in acres of space there on the far side touchline. Great step there by Tatiana Mason. Up to Faith Weber. Great job by Faith Weber to shuffle it onto her right foot. It's going to fall all the way out to Offer, who's so much real estate there on the far side. The left-footed ball is going to come in as multiple Detroit City FC teammates in the box. Sophia Romine's going to get over to it. Edge of the area, Kate Childers dribbling inside. That one's cut out, and it had to be. AFC Ann Arbor now looking to go forward the other way, but the Detroit City FC press is just so incessant as we're 27 minutes into this one. But for AFC Ann Arbor, it has to feel like an hour with how little they've been able to control of this game. Peters. Out wide to Offer. Again, just so much space that Ella Offer has to operate on that far side. Cutting inside, tried to find Faith Weber, who was in acres of space on the edge of the area. And some of the shots we've seen from her so far, can't imagine it'll be too long that AFC Ann Arbor lets that happen. In the midfield now, slowing things down just a little bit is Detroit City FC. Lena Barrow tried to chase that one, but it's going to be to no avail, going out for a throw-in as we take a look at, Romine, just, again, Holly Brown just didn't seem too confident when trying to come out to claim it and nearly paid for it there with a third Detroit City FC goal. So going to be a sigh of relief from them. Played all the way back. Avery Peters, just a calm-headed ball over to Acadia Murphy, who was unable to get it past Talia Saab. And now AFC Ann Arbor might have numbers forward for the first time today. Ella Offer might have some defensive work to do on Vivian Permonen. Nearly cut out there and eventually cut out by Acadia Murphy, who spots Sophia Romine, who's in tons of space. And Emily Paget looks up. She's got Faith Weber on this near side touchline. Faith Weber been really impressive so far in her debut for Detroit City FC this season. Hannah Crum slipped into the 18-yard box. Hannah Crum so dangerous in 1v1 situations. Finds Romine just a little bit too much on it. Goes over Romine's head, who's going to try to keep it in. A great job as she goes up against the Gatorade board to keep it to Ella Offer. That one's played right onto the penalty spot, but no one there to meet it. Faith Weber, right-footed strike. That one had the whole crowd on notice right there. Nearly 3-0 here at Keyworth, but Faith Weber will have to wait for her second of the evening, at least for now. So Faith Weber, see her there. First appearance for Detroit City FC this season, but not her first year in the Rouge and Gold. It's been around for Detroit City FC for the last few seasons. Has been impressive. You obviously see the speed that she has, the turn of pace, but as well, just in 1v1 situations, just fashioning space for a shot. She's so dangerous at that, and that's been on full display just 30 minutes into her 2024 debut. That one's played all the way forward. It's going to go to Shriver. Mason now, probably the last player you want on this Detroit City FC team to have the space that they're allowing her in the midfield. Just so calm and composed when on the ball. Avery Peters kind of lets that one get away from her. AFC Ann Arbor could be through on goal here. That shot's going to come in, and it's 2-1 just like that. Vivian Permonen capitalizes on a mistake from Avery Peters. And if you look down and looked away from your TV for 5 seconds, you might have missed that one. That's how quickly it happened here at Keyworth. And now all of a sudden, that'll fill the visitors with confidence. And that's a rare mistake, a collector's item from Avery Peters there. It'll be an unassisted goal for Vivian Permonen, and they might not come as easy ever again for her on that one, as she looked up and she was through on goal. So Detroit City FC going to have to lock in and focus here just a little bit. Realize, 2-0, what the most dangerous lead in the sport. I kind of hate that cliche, but ends up being true whenever people say it, I feel like. So Peters now is going to want to right the wrongs of giving up that goal. Childers has some space to operate in. Tried to find Ella Offer, who was making a great run on the far side. Referee's going to blow the whistle to this one. I don't know for what. Pointed to her head there. I'm going to say the referee, I think referee's saying that the ball hit her. So we're seeing a sub already getting ready for Detroit City FC on the near side touchline. It looks like Drew Martin is getting ready to come in. I don't know who that would be for. I don't know if there's any injuries. I would imagine it'd be for a fullback, but Maya Sulis I think has been playing pretty well. So interested to see where Drew Martin gets slotted into this Detroit City FC equation. Great job there by Kate Childers to step up into that one. Emily Padgett's going to be fouled, and the referee's been reluctant to hand out cards yet. Looks like we'll have a quick talking to here. Referee's pointing out other fouls that she's committed, but saying no more. Did the no more thing. So I think the next foul from Tiffany Hollingsworth will be a yellow card. Early sub here, just 33 minutes gone. Wonder who it's going to be for. But the sub card has been handed to the officials, so just waiting on that one. That one's going to come in. And Faith Weber, again, nearly got her second of the match. And on multiple times, the ball's just kind of slipped into a dangerous area for AFC Ann Arbor. And Faith Weber unable to make them pay for it on that occasion, but been heavily involved in the first 33 minutes of action here at Keyworth. Peters blasts that one forward. It's going to come all the way back to Peters once again. Referee's going to blow the foul against Natalia Saab, who's not happy with that call. But we see that called all the time, where a player kind of uses another one as like a, I don't want to say table, but puts him in a precarious situation when going up for a header. As the referee gives Natalia Saba talking to, but we'll stop play for the official, for the sub. And looks like it will be Maya Sulis making way for Drew Martin. So you got to wonder what that's about. I would imagine it would be for an injury. I think I just saw Dave Dwayhe point over to the medical tent on this near side, or at least over to the trainer. So she'll be looked at. But good to see her walking, nothing visible, which is always a good sign as Drew Martin now enters the pitch. She, of course, played at Kalamazoo at the midweek. Great job by Tatiana Mason to shuffle play over to Avery Peters. Now Ella Offer has some time and space. Left-footed ball's going to be played into Hannah Crum before it's cleared all the way out for a Detroit City FC throw-in. That one's going to go the opposite way, so it'll be a throw-in for AFC Ann Arbor now. Kate Childers has been heavily involved in the play in that midfield position, has not been afraid to go forward when needed, but has been really stout when having to win the ball back for her side. A free kick here to Detroit City FC, and this is a very similar position that we saw one of the last free kicks coming from just the opposite side of the field. Hannah Crum given the responsibility to make something happen here. A lot of players up for this one, and I almost said this in the last free kick from this area, but it kind of feels like a corner in the sense of the personnel that you send up. That one's going to come in, and Childers is there, and it's 3-1 Detroit City FC. Kate Childers on a ball from Hannah Crum from the free kick. So Detroit City FC, 3 first-half goals. Did a really good job to bounce back from conceding what they would see as a soft goal. And Kate Childers gets her first. We'll see it in. It was a great ball in by Hannah Crum. Inch-perfect delivery. And Childers just got up over Katie Faug. And it's 3-1 for La Rouge. And, of course, just like the first 2 goals scored, month of June, Pride Month. It's going to come all the way, and Acadia Murphy has some defensive work to do as AFC Ann Arbor looks to immediately get one back. Coming together, but it's going to go out for a goal kick, and you've seen the QR code twice already. For the 3rd time, if you scan that QR code, make your pledge to the 2024 Northern Guard Supporters Pride Raiser campaign benefiting the Ruth Ellis Center. Every goal scored at home during the month of June gives money to the Ruth Ellis Center, and first 2 goals are worth $1,724.69. That 3rd goal adds to that tally. So you get to root for your team, root for a great cause, and support a great organization doing great work in the city of Detroit. Going to go out for a throw-in. So AFC Ann Arbor now, they kind of felt like they were back in the game a little bit there, but now they'll have to do the work they already did, and you just have to do it again to get back into this one. Still a 2-goal lead, so technically still the most dangerous lead in football, but a little bit different 3-1 than 2-0. It's only Detroit City FC's 2nd goal they've conceded all season, so sort of a rarity in 2024 in USL W League play. AFC Ann Arbor not having the best go of it so far when it comes to defending this year. It's their 11th goal conceded so far, putting them at a -1 goal difference, so not where you want to be on the side of the goal difference line. So AFC Ann Arbor player was down in the box, but the referee was having none of it. That one's going to come all the way in, but blocked out at the last second. It's Lena Barra now who has some attacking work to do one-on-one. Cuts inside of the substitute, Drew Martin. Cuts inside one more time. Plays the ball across. That shot comes in, but Avery Peters does well to get a foot to it. And Lena Barra, wow, that would have been really impressive. Sort of the over-the-leg volley type deal, but it was always rising, and Shriver didn't even have to get up for it. Detroit City FC now back to a comfortable position of being up by 2 goals. Of course, the history between these 2 clubs. I mentioned the first ever game for Detroit City FC here at Keyworth Stadium back in 2016 was a 1-1 draw against AFC Ann Arbor. Emily Paget now throws a left-footed shot at it, and yet again, not once has Holly Brown looked confident when going for a ball or trying to defend from the back. So that'll be we'll see that from Detroit City FC taking these shots from distance, because they know, not that it's going to go in, obviously, but it'll at least make Holly Brown sweat a little bit. Faith Weber coming back from an offside position. It was a great flick. Yeah. No one else in the stadium saw the offside flag. It was a great flick there, but just unable to connect with Sophia Romine in a legal way and keep the play for Detroit City FC. So AFC Ann Arbor going to be thankful for that, because otherwise they were through on goal, 3v1 numbers-wise going forward. So getting play started back underway. Faith Weber came in from about 5 to 10 yards from an offside position. Unfortunately, it was really clever. Hannah Crum applying the press, making that one go up. And Lena Barra has been fully involved in every single thing good that's happened for AFC Ann Arbor so far today. So they're going to want to get her on the ball more often as this match ticks on. out wide. The most recent goal scorer, Kate Childers. Katie Murphy gets it inside to Tatiana Mason. Mason back to Murphy. Good switch of play, finds Childers. Childers has Ella Offer in a ton of space behind her. It's going to be Tiffany Hollingsworth that's going to go out to defend. Ella Offer's going to play a left-footed ball into the area. That one is, again, I think that one was always going out of play, but even then, Holly Brown didn't look too confident when allowing it to go out of play. Ella Offer, of course, the woman of the match last time out here at Keyworth Stadium for Detroit City FC. Just every game she's played in so far, the teams have just allowed her acres of space on that far side of the pitch, and every time she's on the ball, you look up because it could be dangerous. So it'll go out for a throw in and around midfield. That one's going to come out and be another throw in as folks in the gold section here at Keyworth Stadium had to duck out of the way. Be a throw-in for AFC Ann Arbor, taken well by Sandra Peterson. Lena Barra now involved in the play, but Emily Paget gets over to extinguish that flame. And so far, Emily Paget's been super impressive for Detroit City FC this season. Been an ever-present force in that midfield and going forward for Detroit City FC. Throw-in at about midfield. Sophia Romine, of course, started the scoring for Detroit City FC. I wonder if she's going to score like a normal goal this year, if they're all going to be just 10 out of 10 world-class strikes from her. Minnesota Golden Gopher from Romeo, Michigan. Detroit City FC through Faith Weber. Tried to just dribble through there and fashion the space for a shot. So Murphy does well to get a foot in there. Romine, that press is unbelievable from Detroit City FC, and Weber just tried to slip in Emily Paget there. And some of these misplaced passes from Weber, you know that with time, the chemistry will come. This is her first appearance for Detroit City FC at Keyworth this year. And the things that she's trying to do will come with time, will come with chemistry. And we've seen them work out on a few occasions, but just unable to fully make it work on a couple other ones. So look out for that as the match continues. Mason finds Drew Martin in some space. Drew Martin cuts inside and puts Lena Barra off her feet. Great ball forward by Childers. Emily Paget's going to run onto it, but just flagged for offsides. It was a tighter one than the one from Faith Weber a few minutes ago, but nonetheless the offside flag comes up. So 43 and a half minutes gone here at Keyworth Stadium. Detroit City FC sitting pretty comfortable now with a 3-1 lead as they've dominated play for most of the 43 minutes. I'd say Ann Arbor has only had a couple situations where you feel like they've been playing some good stuff. Romine applies the pressure. So that one stays in on the far side touchline. Had a few Detroit City FC players calling for it to have gone out, but nonetheless, it stays in. Great job there by Kate Childers to stay involved in that play despite the attempt of a clever flick over her head. So it'll be a throw-in for AFC Ann Arbor as we creep up here on first half stoppage time. It's been a really impressive display from Dave Dwayhe's side in the first 45 minutes of this one, as it really has been all season for Detroit City FC. I would say maybe the second half against Kalamazoo was probably the worst that they played, but even then they still controlled a lot of phases of that 45 minutes. Substitute Drew Martin cuts inside. Tried to slip in Emily Paget, her Western Michigan University teammate. Bronco to Bronco connection. Couple Central Michigan University Chippewas on the roster too, so I wonder if there's some friendly banter there. The backup goalkeeper on today's bench, Allison LaPointe, also plays for the Central Michigan University basketball team, so interesting tidbit there. Sophia Romine applying the pressure. 4 minutes of first half stoppage time here from Keyworth Stadium as Drew Martin has her back to goal and finds in Sophia Romine, who's just bumped off the ball at the last second, and then sort of a shove in the back there from Romine to Minnie Lauka. 17 against 71 there. LaRouge just looking for a calm, steady half to the end of this first half. Emily Paget does well to fight off the defense of Katie Faug. As Sophia Romine now has some space, cutting inside. Thought about the shot right there. Faith Weber, a great first touch to beat her defender and plays it up to Ella Offer. Ella Offer cutting inside the left-footed. Ball's going to come in, try to find Weber once again, but it's going to be Childers that gets to it at the edge of the area. Childers is going to cross that one into some space. Hannah Crum's up for it. It's Faith Weber. And that's the most confident Holly Brown's been all day when making a save, and she really needed to be because the difference between 3-1 and 4-1 is monumental. So a good job from Detroit City FC. They're still fashioning chances, and they've been really high percentage chances. A lot of one-on-ones, dangerous balls put into the box. So Dave Dwayne and his staff will be happy as the sides get ready to go into the break here. Just a couple minutes of extra time to sort through first, and a great job there by Drew Martin to get past Lena Barra. It's been a fun battle to watch, and she's come in. Sophia Romine running onto it. Just a first touch might have let her down there, but it's going to stay for a corner, Detroit City FC. Great job there by Romine. Maybe thought that one was gone and out of play. I thought it. Center referee certainly pointed for a corner, folks. I don't know if we got that on the broadcast. I'm not making things up here. Holly Brown just going to boot it into some space. Terrible first touch there. This will be a Detroit City FC throw-in. Great job by Faith Weber to keep things involved there. Sophia Romine putting some pressure onto it. Lena Barra goes all the way up to Natalia Saab. Saab's going to receive it now. Avery Peters might have some defensive work to do here, and Peters just no nonsense gets that one out of play, and she's actually going to win the foul as well, which I think surprised her a little bit, reading the facial expression from up here. No nonsense clearance, though, and it had to be. Be good for her confidence after giving up that goal when it was 2-0, which then made it 2-1, but Detroit City FC back to a 2-goal advantage. It's been a comfortable 2-goal advantage from LaRouge as well so far. Hannah Crum, a great job. She's so dangerous 1v1. Does well to beat her defender there. Getting a ball in. Faith Weber's at the far post. We'll see if she keeps this one in along the goal line. Just does enough to do so as Drew Martin's running into some space here. Does well to pass it past Lena Barra. Drew Martin just one touch too many. And it was tough to see Maya Sulis come off because she's been great so far for DCFC this season, but Drew Martin just keeping that level on this near side, and it's been a battle for Lena Barra so far since Drew Martin's entered the pitch. Avery Peters over to Acadia Murphy. Can't be much stoppage time left here at Keyworth. That one's played up, and it's going to be Emily Paget that's going to be running into some space. Emily Paget tried to get, and they're going to both go to the ground there, and Emily Paget's going to concede the foul. Sort of a 50-50. I don't know if there was a foul there or just kind of a clash type deal. So, a couple yards taken here by Tiffany Hollingsworth. Going to be played inside to Minnie Lauka. And there goes the halftime whistle. Detroit City FC looking good. Up 3-1 here at Keyworth Stadium. Sophia Romine opened the scoring. Faith Weber doubled it. And then, once conceding one, it was Kate Childers that got the third for Detroit City FC. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for the second half of USL W League action here from Keyworth Stadium. Welcome back for the second half of action here from Keyworth Stadium. That 3-1 scoreline says a lot, but it doesn't say it all. Detroit City FC has been cruising through 45 minutes of play so far here at Keyworth Stadium. Goes without saying, Sophia Romine opened the scoring with her third incredible goal in 3 matches here at Keyworth Stadium. Then just minutes later, it was Faith Weber who would score on her 2024 Detroit City FC debut. And then AFC Ann Arbor got one back to see Faith Weber there. Her first start for Detroit City FC this season, has been involved in years past, started this evening, has been an incredible force in the attack. The AFC Ann Arbor back line just hasn't had an answer for her yet. She's been dangerous on the turn with her back to goal, and obviously in front of goal, getting the second of the afternoon. And could have had a couple more, has had a lot of dangerous opportunities, making some really clever runs into some dangerous positions. As you see head coach David Dwahey there chatting with her ahead of the second half. Just having an absolute blast. This entire team seems to be so far this season. Sophia Romine, of course, just adding to her already impressive goal catalog. It's just every time she uncorks her foot for a shot, it could go into the back of the net, and that's what I think the team's starting to realize, starting to shoot from distance. Holly Brown for the visitors has had a tough go of it in the first half, and you can see right there the smiles on those faces. The vibes are high ahead of the second 45-minute phase. Avery Peters involved in the team talk. Everyone seems to be pushing in one direction as we look to get things going. The final sort of 1-2-3 city coming in from the squad. Kate Childers gets involved in the huddle. There's 3 goals for Detroit City FC in the first half, each worth $1,724.69 for the 2024 Ruth Ellis Center Pride Raiser campaign. So 45 minutes of action, some 3 great goals, and over $5,174 raised for the Ruth Ellis Center. Hopefully we see 3 more goals at least in this second half and get that total up to over 10,000. So we are off here for the second half of action at Keyworth Stadium. Detroit City FC looking to maintain and even add to an already impressive lead, as that one's going to go out of play for an early Gabby Shriver goal kick. Shriver taking her time. We're not going to see Detroit City FC change in the way they attack or the way they try to approach this game. They're going to want to put goals on the board. They're going to want to increase their advantage. But maybe we'll see just a little bit slowing down some of these situations, these dead ball moments. Maybe we'll see those slow down just a little bit as they can play with a less sense of urgency than they needed to at even 2-1 or 1-0. AFC Ann Arbor with a throw now, but only just thrown to the head of Sophia Romine. Hannah Crum does a great job to retain possession. Aquinas College all-time goal scorer, leader, Hannah Crum there. Great press there from Romine. Danny Steffen has entered the pitch for Detroit City FC. Looks like she's replaced, I don't see Tatiana Mason out there, so it looks like it'll be Danny Steffen for Tatiana Mason. I don't know how accurate that is. I just don't see her out there. So Steffen slots into the midfield. A veteran for the Michigan State Spartans, has been involved in the W League program. This is her second season with Detroit City FC. Of course, participated, albeit briefly, in the PASL indoor season in the wintertime. Really physical midfielder, but so impressive on the turn as well. Can pick out a pass to her teammates. So just shows the depth that Detroit City FC has at their disposal this year, being able to, start a player with the quality of Tatiana Mason and then looking to the bench and replacing her with Danny Steffen, who is right around Mason in quality as well. So a good sign and a good problem to have if you're Dave Dwahey and his staff. Another substitute who did a great job in that first half, Drew Martin, came on to replace Maya Stulis pretty early on. Clever flick there from Hannah Crum, gets it over to Sophia Romine. Sophia Romine has Ella Offer up with her on this near side. Ella Offer plays a left-footed ball in. That one has some speed to it. That one's going to go just over the head of Faith Weber, and it'll be out for a goal kick. Detroit City FC all season has had a ton of success when playing the ball out wide and getting it back to the middle of the pitch. Is how they open the scoring against Flint on the road and at home. And they just seem so comfortable in doing so. That's when they had most of their opportunities against Kalamazoo FC. was playing that ball out wide and then doing, I think they call it a negative pass back inside because you're going negative to the angle of the plane that you're currently running down. Clever flick on there from Hannah Crum, and she tried a negative pass right there. Only gripe I have with calling it a negative pass is in a lot of cases it's like positive for the team, so you kind of just got to realize what you're talking about. It gets confusing, folks. Slowing things. This is probably the slowest period of the game so far, the first 3 minutes of the second half. Zacadia Murphy does well to settle things down just a little bit. Avery Peters, good to see her playing with some confidence. Of course, Ann Arbor's goal came from a misplaced pass from Avery Peters. Nearly saw it again there, but a great job by Romine. Just is so easily able to maneuver out of space, and she gets her teammates involved further up the pitch. We see Drew Martin now running onto it, tried to connect with her Western Michigan teammate Emily Paget. Emily Paget looks for a space to get a cross off, cuts it back, tries to find Martin, who's making a good, incisive run into the box, but it's cleared away. AFC Ann Arbor not really clearing it, They're going to try to play it out of the back. Childer's going to be called for the foul right there. It's been a relatively clean game so far. I believe the only player close to a yellow card is Tiffany Hollingsworth, who on her last foul had a little talking to from the referee. Says, hey, listen, the next one, it's going to be the last one before we card you, as we see Emily Paget there. Had Detroit City FC's best chance of the match in Kalamazoo, and it's been heavily involved in the attack. And Sophia Romine just takes that on-rushing from Minnie Lauka in her stride and is able to play it off to her teammate. Paget, a great ball out there. Some clever plays, sees Paget receive the ball from Crum. Romine now on the far side, gets it back over to Paget. Paget cuts it inside to Childers. Childers creates the space for herself. She's going to play a left-footed ball all the way over to this near side to have Ella Offer. Turf kind of slowed the ball down just a little bit. Offer now edge of the area, right-footed ball into some space. Nearly took an awkward deflection, which found its way over to Crum, but it's going to stay with, going to go to AFC Ann Arbor. It was a good physical battle there between Ella Offer and Vivian Permonen, the goal scorer for the visitors. Permonen on the ball now. Gets it inside to Lauka. Lauka muscled off of it by Danny Steffen, and Faith Weber keeps this one alive for Detroit City FC, but it sees it roll out of play for a goal kick. But that pressure, the intensity that Detroit City FC is playing with, AFC Ann Arbor's found it hard to cope with, and a lot of it has come from the tip of the spear so far tonight, Faith Weber. AFC Ann Arbor looking to slow things down, slow Detroit City FC down just a little bit. I imagine the team talks were very different at the half between Kevin Taylor and Dave Dwahey, of course, both former players for Detroit City FC. As Julia Ticozelli plays that one out wide, but it immediately comes back to the feet of Detroit City FC through Drew Martin, but Drew Martin gives it away in the middle of the park. Some defensive work to do here between Avery Peters and Ella Offer, but it was Vivian Permonen who was unable to corral her first touch, and it'll stay with Detroit City as Avery Peters tried to find Acadia Murphy there, but nonetheless it goes out for a throw-in. Ball kid was ready right there, but just didn't have to. It went off the ad board and right into the path of the player taking the throw-in, so unable to do anything there. As AFC Ann Arbor now fashioned some space inside of the Detroit City FC penalty area, but cut out well there by Acadia Murphy, who didn't look like that took anything out of her. I imagine Kevin Taylor was really honing in on just allowing the game to slow down a little bit and telling his players, look, we got to be on the ball. We got to try to dictate play. Even if it doesn't work out, we really have nothing to lose being 3-1 down entering the second half here at Keyworth, especially with how stingy the Detroit City FC defense has been all season. Seen another example of it today, and even then, their goal came from a misplaced pass from Avery Peters, which is pretty rare. So the Detroit City FC backline has been impressive so far this afternoon, even despite losing up the clean sheet and giving a goal in that first half. As Sophia Romine, again, just so impressive when winning the ball back for her side. Plays an Ella Offer on this near side. Overlapping run from Romine, but Offer elects to go inside. Offer finds Paget. Paget tried to get over across, and it's going to stay with Detroit City FC. Faith Weber took a touch inside and then went to ground. Wins the free kick here. So If I was a betting man, I would say that Hannah Crum's going to be standing over this one. Seems to be the free kick specialist for Detroit City FC, and immediately takes her place near the referee. Not even a question. Danny Steffen can hit a free kick too, though, but Hannah Crum seems to be the only player around this ball for Detroit City. So it'll be a left-footed shot here from Hannah Crum. I would imagine she would go to that far post. Maybe, again, folks, I never played the sport, so I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to what you want to do on a free kick. I would love Avery Peters just running through and lashing this with a right foot, though. But it will be Crum. Referee satisfied with the wall. So Hannah Crum now, left-footed strike comes in, and that one requires a save, but it's in the back of the net. Holly Brown was unable to keep it out, and Hannah Crum makes it 4-1 with an exquisite free kick. Going over to the fans, celebrating with the word mark. And it's 4-1 Detroit City FC. Hannah Crum, take a bow. It was a super powerful free kick, which I think put Holly Brown in a weird position. She tried to punch away at it, but unable to keep it out of the back of the net. And it is 4-1 for Detroit City FC here. And the fans on hand have had a lot to cheer for today at Keyworth Stadium. Sophia Romine and Detroit City FC just scored the 4th goal, but no part of them wants to slow things down, as things got a little bit physical right there between Sophia Romine and Minnie Lauka, as they have done at times so far this afternoon. Take a look. We've had 3 chances to do so already, folks. The fourth time's the charm, they say in the industry. Scan the QR code on your screen now and make your pledge to the 2024 Northern Guard Supporters Pride Raiser campaign benefiting the Ruth Ellis Center. That free kick from Hannah Crum was worth $1,724.69. Make the next goal worth even more by scanning the QR code on your screen. And the way this game's going, we might see a couple more goals in this one. I said at the half that the goals already raised $5,174.07. You add another $1,724.69 to that. I'm doing this live, folks. $6,898 raised so far today for the Ruth Ellis Center. So support the team, support a great cause, support a great organization in the city of Detroit. Avery Peters steps into the midfield. Faith Weber, when she's needed to, she's come back really smartly to get involved in the play in the middle of the park. Shriver gets it over to Murphy. Tried to find Hannah Crum through on goal there. This, of course, the score line. And the last time these two sides met at Keyworth Stadium, and on that occasion, it was Sydney Bloomquist that hit a beautiful free kick for Detroit City FC. So history sort of repeating itself this afternoon at Keyworth. Hannah Crum muscled off the ball by Katie Fogg. Not often you say that. Great press there by Childers. Cleanly wins the ball, too, for Detroit City FC. The referee and her teammates, too, to be fair, were looking around. It's like, we should probably just get up and continue play. Childers to this near side, finds offer. Romine. Ball's just glued to Romine's feet. And just an inch-perfect ball to Murphy. Sophia Romine's been an absolute revelation for this side, and nearly back on it again. More, and she's played great, but you can tell like she wants more out of herself and out of the team too, which is great to see. It seems to be the mentality around this group that Dave Dwahey and his staff have put together. They want more, despite having a great start to the season so far. Again, you can scan that QR code at any point. Make your pledge to the Ruth Ellis Center. AFC Ann Arbor now looking to just get one back and get something out of this game. Amy Kamori gets that one in, and Shriver might have been a little bit concerned about that one, but nonetheless it goes over and out of play for a goal kick. So 57 minutes gone. Detroit City FC looking good, 4-1 leading on AFC Ann Arbor. A tough team to break down over the years, so a really impressive scoreline for Detroit City. And so far this W League season, it's kind of slipped away from them a little bit, but they had a really hot start. They were right up there with Detroit City toward the top of the table, but this week it just kind of seems to have come unstuck for them with the 4-1 loss on the road to Midwest United earlier in the week, and now 4-1 scoreline with 30 minutes still remaining here at Keyworth Stadium, so not the spot they want to be in. And a great ball evades everybody and goes to Faith Weber, but her first touch was a little bit unable to keep it in, but does well on the touchline to keep possession for Detroit City. Cuts inside to the area. Faith Weber's going to have a shot. That one nearly trickles in. And again, Holly Brown just unable to confidently come out and make that save. And a sigh of relief there for AFC Ann Arbor because Hannah Crum was on the doorstep looking to take advantage of that one. It comes all the way to Crum, but just keeps it in. Offer now. Left-footed ball in. That one's poked away, but only as far as Faith Weber. Thought she was going to fashion a shot right there. Tried to go past both of them. It's going to come all the way back to the top of the area. But Kate Childers yet again involved in the play. She's been everywhere tonight, but seems to just be a little bit slow getting up. Continues on, though. Good to see that. And just right back into a full sprint as Acadia Murphy steps up into the midfield. Romine on the ball now. Romine cutting inside. A great ball to Emily Paget. That one's going to come in, and Holly Brown made the save. And everyone in this stadium cannot believe the pass that was just picked out to play in Emily Paget there. Kind of took me for a loss of words myself. And nearly a fifth goal there for Detroit City, but Holly Brown able to answer the call on this occasion. Romine and Stefan and win the ball back there, but the referee's going to say that there was a foul. So to the dismay of Stefan and Romine. So AFC Ann Arbor now trying to build through Vivian Permonen. Minnie Lauka involved in the play. That one's going to come in from an incredibly deep distance to find Permonen, but Shriver able to claim it. Permonen, of course, the goal scorer for the visitors this evening. So far, what looks to be a consolation goal, but still a lot of time left here at Keyworth Stadium. Drew Martin now playing it over to Emily Paget. Physical battle there between Paget and Faug, but it was cleanly won back by the visitors. Childers. Great ball by Childers. A great idea by Childers, just unable to connect with Hannah Crum as Avery Peters has some work to do. Looked over the shoulder to see if the press was coming, but it never really was from AFC Ann Arbor. That's sort of been a theme all game. They've kind of just allowed Detroit City FC to play their game and dictate the way that this game's going to go. And the scoreline reflects that. Just 60 minutes gone here. Detroit City FC puts up 4 on the score sheet. Incredible by Romine. Got the ball on the near side touchline, runs into the midfield, and plays it all the way over to Drew Martin on the far side. Drew Martin gets a cut inside before playing a left-footed ball. Hannah Crum is in the box. There's a great run by Hannah Crum and a great spot by Drew Martin from that far side. Kind of just evaded everybody. It got to Crum, but the first touch was unable to be as controlled as it needed to be. Katia Murphy just kind of sends that one up and does well to keep that one in for Detroit City FC. Great dribble inside there by Drew Martin. Faith Weber now running through on goal, but that one's going to be flagged for offside. We'll see it again here, this incredible ball. That was Sophia Romine. Just a disguised pass into the path of Paget. And you guys couldn't see this on the broadcast, but the entire coaching staff for Detroit City FC could not believe that ball that was played. That was an incredible, that should be an assist for Sophia Romine, as we'll see 2 subs here from AFC Ann Arbor. So it'll be number 20, Ivy Wilhelm, and number 12, Rhiannon O'Looney, going to come in for AFC Ann Arbor. I believe that was number 6, Chiara Promoli, who makes way. Not sure who the second one was, but regardless, looking to shake up the deck just a little bit. And Natalia Saab's going to come off as well for the visitors. Detroit City FC themselves readying 2 substitutions on this near side. Referee's going to stop the match right here to get those in. That's going to be Lily Bosley is going to enter the match for La Rouge, as well as number 24, Nina Ferraro. We'll see who is going to be replaced here. Looks like that's going to be Emily Paget making way. A great contribution from her this afternoon, as well as Hannah Crum coming off of the pitch. So we mentioned the depth that Detroit City FC has. When you're able to put up back-to-back Miss Soccer winner for the state of Michigan on the pitch, when you're already leading 4-1, 63 minutes gone. That just shows the depth that this squad has. So Lily Bosley enters the match, not what the AFC Ann Arbor back line wanted to see. They're going to know the quality that she possesses, and I would expect her to make an impact on this game pretty quickly. A throw in for Detroit City FC at just about midfield. Back to goal already. Lily Bosley getting involved in the build-up phase of play as Sophia Romine's applying some pressure. Sophia Romine is so quick and has the tenacity to be able to win the ball back and then just absolutely toying with the defender, and eventually it's going to go out of play. It'll be a throw to AFC Ann Arbor, but still a great show there from Romine. Worth the price of admission. This whole team has been so far this season. Every time AFC Ann Arbor has had the ball, it just hasn't been comfortable for them. It feels like they've been sort of just restricted with what they've been allowed to do so far. As things nearly got physical right there between Avery Peters and the newly substituted Rhiannon O'Looney. Big fan of the O apostrophe in names, so it's cool to see that. Faith Weber, great debut for her at Keyworth Stadium this season. Drew Martin heavily involved. That one's going to come out to O'Looney. O'Looney's going to have some space and time to operate. It's going to play in Promonin. Promonin tried to turn, but again, it's Sophia Romine, who's just had herself quite the match at Keyworth Stadium this afternoon. Tried to play it in Lily Bosley. Lily Bosley's going to do well to cut it inside, but it's going to end up being a physical battle. It's going to go out of play for a Detroit City FC corner. So good job by the substituted Bosley to stay in that fight and win the corner for her side. So we'll see a corner for Detroit City FC. They've been dangerous at times from set-piece opportunities. Of course, a goal coming, 2 goals now coming from set pieces. We'll see if they can add a corner to their resume. That one's going to come in, and just not a lot of confidence coming from Holly Brown when she's having to come up and make stops. Nearly cost her side once again right there. But is able to keep it out, and for the time being, it remains 4-1. Looks like we'll have a throw-in on the far side, right about midfield. Katia Murphy. I've said this time and time again this season. If we didn't have the score bug on the screen, if you didn't know what the score of the game was, you would think it's 0-0. And that's the intensity that this team plays with, despite being up 4-1. Game state doesn't really exist to this squad, which is really impressive to see. I'm sure it being the month of June and the Pride Raiser implications add to that as we see a Katia Murphy. Was on the squad in 2022, was sort of a bit part player back then, but now fully involved in this Detroit City FC back line. Her and Avery Peters have formed a great partnership in defense. Sophia Romine again trying to get onto the ball. Goes to ground cleanly, and Nina Ferraro now gets her first opportunity to impress here at Keyworth Stadium this afternoon. Finds Lily Bosley, substitute to substitute. Tried to get Ella Offer involved, but good job by Promonin to cut that one out. Promonin goes all the way back to the back line. And it's kept by Danny Steffen for Detroit City FC. Left-footed ball is going to come into some space. Faith Weber she was in acres of space in the midfield, but wasn't able to fall to her. Peters over to Murphy. Murphy back to Childers in the midfield. Steffen, Childers, Peters, Offer. Really impressive passing on display from LaRouge this afternoon. Bosley just unable to twist and shake away from the defender to get herself involved, and Avery Peters not afraid to go up for a header. Ferraro tried to keep possession there, but it falls back to Promonin. A switch out wide to Lena Barra, so it'll be some defending to do for Drew Martin. Martin on Barra goes to ground and does a great job to keep the ball at her feet. That's an excellent tackle by Drew Martin. Back to Murphy. Into the midfield. Childers sprays it out wide. Drew Martin, right-footed ball into the area, has Faith Weber up with her and Lily Bosley. It comes through to Bosley. Touchdown, Ferraro goes for it. Avery Peters still trying to urge the team forward. Plays it out wide to Ella Offer. Ella Offer's cutting inside. Goes and played out for a corner. So Detroit City FC one more time here to make something happen from a corner kick. And the way Holly Brown's been playing, if they're able to just put it in a precarious situation for her, that could pay dividends as Nina Ferraro comes over to take the corner kick. I love when players wear white boots. Like white boots, black boots, just no nonsense. Let's get it over with. Ferraro plays this one into the area. That one's going to come in. And that one nearly was an own goal. And eventually, I thought it might have trickled its way in. The referee is going to say another corner for Detroit City FC. But yet again, Ann Arbor not helping themselves out. Dave Dway and his staff are preparing a few more subs. We'll get to those after we deal with this corner kick. Taken short to Danny Steffen. Danny Steffen just kind of chips it into space. And that one was offside. It would have been a clever flick on there. And we'll see. We'll get ready for these Detroit City FC subs as they come in. Looks like not happening yet. Not happening as of yet. Just you imagine the next stoppage of play, we'll see those substitutes enter the field. Steffen on the turn. Been really composed showing from her since she's entered the match. Steffen looks to find Childers. Childers bypassed for Murphy. Acadia Murphy playing the ball into Lily Bosley. That's a great run into some space. Sort of nearly a high boot there, but good job by Bosley. Wasn't going to be, and that's, yeah. That feels like a strength battle more than a foul. But we'll see the three substitutes now. So it'll be number 16. Oh, I thought maybe. Oh, here we go. Yeah, here the substitutes come now. Chloe Barthouse is going to enter the match, as well as Alexandria Tefend. And we'll see a change in goal, too, with Allison LaPointe entering the match. Central Michigan University Chippewa. Also a member of the Central Michigan basketball team. So that's a fun nugget there. I don't know if we've ever had a basketball player at a D1 school play for DCFC at Keyworth. So we'll get the stats people on that. Maybe. Maybe. So LaPointe makes her debut for Detroit City FC. Chloe Barthouse was involved in that midweek matchup in Kalamazoo, but makes her way onto the pitch here at Detroit City. Or excuse me, at Keyworth Stadium as Nina Ferraro spreads play out wide to Childers. Kate Childers trying to play in Barthouse. It's going to come in. Brown once again. Lily Bosley's going to take advantage of it, and it's just wide of the post. And I almost feel for Lily Bosley because against Flint a couple weeks ago, she had about 3 or 4 golden opportunities to score and get her first goal for DCFC. And right there with Holly Brown off of her line, could have been 5-1 at Keyworth. So she'll want that one back for sure. Murphy, great job settling that one down, finding Peters. Peters looked for Steffen in the midfield, who was in some space, but a great job by the former Michigan State University Spartan to get to ground. Great poke away there from Romine. Sophia Romine has been absolutely unbelievable every single time she's taken the pitch here at Keyworth. Martin tried to slip in Ferraro, but it's cut out of the last second there by Ivy Wilhelm. Childers pokes it forward, tried to slip in Barthouse. Ferraro involved as well, but sort of unable to settle it. And we're not going to see a drop-off in the way Detroit City FC is attacking because all these players that have come onto the pitch, they want to prove themselves that they can be a part of this starting 11. It's a hard team to get into right now with how well everyone's playing. Tefend might have some defensive work to do here, the former Oakland University Golden Grizzly. Childers gets it over to Bosley. A great touch in defeat there by Bosley, but unable to corral the pass. Tried to find Ferraro, but ends up turning it over. Great job to cut inside there by Drew Martin. Tried to find Bosley. That one might fall over to Barnthouse on that far side. Ferraro goes to ground. Great step in there from Martin, who's been great since coming on. When she replaced Maya Sulis, you knew the level was going to stay where it was, especially with what Drew Martin did last season. But she's been great since coming on early in the first half. Barnthouse now into some space. Chloe Barnthouse tried to go for it. Gets it over to Sophia Romine. The left-footed shot from Romine. I don't know if she's allowed to score goals from inside the box. You wouldn't think it with the 3 she's scored so far this season. Teffen there. Tried to settle it down, but it's going to come back to Peters. Peters is going to let it kind of go out of her grasp as AFC Ann Arbor's goal scorer Promonin gets some time on the ball. That one's played forward. Headed back to LaPointe by Childers. So Allison LaPointe gets her first few touches on the ball here. Allison LaPointe, like we mentioned, Central Michigan University, also a D1 basketball player, and came into this group, and the Dave Dwyer and the coaching staff was really impressed and earns a spot in the match day 18. And then with the scoreline, with the game state, able to come on and play about 30 minutes here at Keyworth, seeing this one out. Great job by Barnthouse on that far side. Just the speed that she's possessed since coming on. Very similar to what Faith Weber was doing, but except she has the fresh legs, she can attack, and she hasn't been on the field for 70 minutes. So she'll be able to just run at these AFC Ann Arbor defenders. So Detroit City FC now getting ready for this corner. They've had success, or at least have made AFC Ann Arbor worry on these corner kicks. This one's going to come in. Lily Bosley was up for it. Avery Peters goes for the near post, but it's into the side netting for a goal kick. I get the sense that some folks in the stadium thought that was a goal. Unfortunately, Avery Peters is going to have to wait to get her first goal of the season. Politely lets the AFC Ann Arbor player past her, and we'll get 3 more subs for the visitors. Looks like number 8's going to come out. See number 4 coming out, Tiffany Hollingsworth, as well as number 5, Sandra Peterson is going to make way. I don't even think necessarily that there's been a reason or one thing you could point to where AFC Ann Arbor has lost this game. I just think the overall structure and the overall approach to the game is the reason that Detroit City FC's had so much success. Every time they lose the ball, you see 3 or 4 Detroit City FC players pressing, and Alexandria Teffen just skips past the defender. Tried to skip past 2 more and fashion a shot, but it's going to come out for Ferraro. Nita Ferraro's going to cross it in, but cleared away by the visitors. A sort of a miscommunication there between Danny Steffen and Avery Peters results in Avery Peters having some defensive work to do, but cut out by Acadia Murphy. And that's why LaRouche is able to play with so much confidence, the trust that they have in one another when defending, when going forward in the middle of the pitch. It's evident when you watch this game from afar, and you're able to see why the back line's able to step as high up as they do, and we see it perfectly there with Acadia Murphy clearing the bluffs of Avery Peters and Danny Steffen. So 76.5 minutes gone here at Keyworth Stadium. Detroit City FC looks confident and comfortable, up 4-1 over AFC Ann Arbor. Should be a popular win amongst Detroit City FC fans, who a lot of good times against AFC Ann Arbor. But always a difficult team to beat, whether it be in the MPSL with their men's side or recently in the USL W League with their women's program. Last couple times, though, Detroit City FC's made quick work of it, of course, beating them 4-1 here last year at Keyworth Stadium, and then ending their W League campaign with a 6-0 routing of AFC Ann Arbor in a rain-shortened match at Pioneer High School. So last 3 occasions, aggregate score has been now 14-2 in these matchups. Quick math. That really is quick math. See a stoppage in play here. Sophia Roman getting a talking to. I don't think she has shin pads in. And if that's the case, she didn't have this. We saw a stoppage for something very similar in Kalamazoo on Tuesday. I don't know if she just doesn't play with shin pads or if they've just slipped out. I don't see any on the field anywhere, but didn't have shin guards against Kalamazoo on Tuesday. That match was stopped for that same reason. So she's going to receive shin guards here, and no rush to get her back onto the pitch. She's allowed to take a couple sips of water, and she's definitely earned it for the first 78 minutes of the match she's had so far this afternoon. Avery Peters does well to get it into Danny Steffen. Bosley tried to corral it because she had, I believe that was Drew Martin on that far side and tons of space. AFC Ann Arbor now slowing things down just a little bit. 78.5 minutes gone, just looking to maybe just get another goal, maybe some good spirits, lift some of the vibes ahead of that trip back to Ann Arbor. It's been a tough go of it for them today here at Keyworth Stadium. Sophia Romine finally gets cleared to re-enter the match. Of course, if you're watching on CBSDetroit.com and you're located in the state of Michigan, don't go anywhere. Just tab out of this tab and flip over to the one for Detroit City FC's USL Championship match this evening on the road to Rhode Island FC. Of course, supporters of Michigan can stream for free on CBSDetroit.com. If you're not located in Michigan, of course, it'll be carried live on ESPN Plus streaming. And if you're local to the Metro Detroit area, you can watch on Detroit 50 WKBD TV. That kickoff coming up at 7:30 p.m. Detroit City FC looks to get back to winning ways. Allison Lapointe gets up and gets her hands on that one. I think that might officially be her first save for Detroit City FC. I lied a couple seconds ago. Sophia Romine now about to be cleared onto the pitch, and there she goes. So re-entering play, you see here they're coming in from the bottom of the screen. Nina Ferraro tried to turn the defender, is going to win the foul, and then there's a little shove afterward. Referee saw it and made note of it, but no reason to bring out a card, I don't think, as Childers gets play started again, and Murphy was kind of wrong-footed there. Of course, Rhode Island FC, that's sort of the newcomers to the USL Championship this year, their first year participating, first year as a club. Of course, in the middle of their own stadium project right now, so playing a year at a local stadium before moving into their own ground as Avery Peters wins possession back in the midfield. Avery Peters rips one, and it's going to cannon off of an AFC Ann Arbor player. That might have been Lena Barra, and play is stopped for a head collision. So Lena Barra is going to be tended to in the middle of the pitch. We've seen Nina Ferraro been heavily involved in the middle of the field since coming on. Plays pause. The concussion checks going on here at Keyworth. Crowd gives a good response when they see her back to her feet. So good as we see Alexandria defend there. Another second half substitute, former Oakland University Golden Grizzly. She's been another one of those players just trying to work into this 18, but you look at who, starting 11, but you look at who she's trying to take minutes away from. Ella Offer, Maya Sulis, Drew Martin as a fullback. It's hard to break into that. So talking to Emily Padgett about it in training on Thursday, talking to Dave Dwahey about it over the last few days, the level that this talent pool, this roster pool has is keeping everyone competitive, everyone locked in, because they all want to come out here and show what they got when it comes time to play a match. So good problem to have for Dave Dwahey and the coaching staff. Kate Childers restarts it from a drop ball, and it's going to go all the way back to Brown. Brown just calmly collects it and blasts it into the air. It's going to come back from Tefen's going to let that one bounce out of play. Nowhere. That was don't even need a ball kid on this near side. Great job there by Chloe Barnhouse and Sophia Romine. Just wow. It's not just having like the skills to be able to do that, but knowing when to do it, having the IQ to do it, and having the confidence to do that, all in one package is unbelievable. and it stays with Detroit City. Barnhouse tried to be involved with it. It's going to go out. She's going to have the foul called against her. I think we just saw a slight clip of the leg there. Barnhouse kind of been working her way into the squad. She was involved in the Kalamazoo trip in the midweek. Mentioned the speed that she possesses. We've seen it on hand a few times so far this afternoon. Been a welcome addition. When Faith Weber came off, I wasn't concerned about it, but you might think you might lose some speed up top, and Barnhouse has just slotted into that position and has provided very similar dangers and challenges for the AFC Ann Arbor back line. Stefan gets it up in the air over only as far as AFC Ann Arbor's forward. Lily Bosley will want that chance back a few minutes ago. Could have made it 5-1 when Holly Brown was off of her line. That one's going to trickle out of play for an AFC Ann Arbor throw-in. Right at about midfield. Katia Murphy now settles things down. Over to Childers. Childers over to Stefan now. Gonna just slow things down just a little bit. To be a free kick taken by Avery Peters here, just past the halfway line. As we're creeping up into the final 5 minutes of action here from Keyworth Stadium. Peters trying to direct traffic. Elects to just throw it forward. Lily Bosley was up for the header. Did well to win it for her side for a split second, but it comes all the way out to Drew Martin. A great turn there by Childers. Opens up space for her teammates and then plays a great ball to Defend. Defend's going to play a left-footed ball in. Ferraro was making a far post run. Sophia Romine, you imagine that next shot was going to be a touch, or wow, next touch was going to be a shot, excuse me. Danny Stefan all the way over to Drew Martin. Martin cutting inside, a great turn by Martin. Plays a right-footed ball in, poked away. It's going to come, I believe, nearly all the way back out to Martin one more time, but AFC Ann Arbor looks to just get some time on the ball. O'Looney does well to get involved. Promonin, the goal scorer for AFC Ann Arbor, poked out there at the last second by Acadia Murphy, and then finds Sophia Romine. Sophia Romine tries to slip in Lily Bosley. Lily Bosley now running through. And Holly Brown was quick out to it, and she needed to be because Lily Bosley was running in behind there. Tri-City FC still trying to add a fifth goal to tonight's scoreline. Bosley, we'll see if she's able to keep this one in. It depends how it rolls off the turf. Able to keep it in on the far side. Touchline has Romine into the box with her. Only as far cleared away as Drew Martin through the legs. Kate Childers now. Childers just tried to poke it past the defender and keep running into some space. It's going to come out, but only to Acadia Murphy, who's calmly able to get possession back on the ball. Childers does well to get it to Peters inside. Avery Peters marauding forward. Gets it to Danny Stefan. Danny Stefan, sort of a 2v1, wins out still. Over to Avery Peters. And that one's cleared out for a Detroit City FC throw-in, but in Ann Arbor's half still. Really had a multi-ball situation right there, but good heads-up play by Sophia Romine and the ball kid, working in tandem to make sure we only have one ball on the pitch at any given time. That one's going to bounce out of play for Detroit City FC throw-in. Ball's done a really good job so far this afternoon of staying in play. There's been a lot of situations where you feel like it might roll out or skip out of play, but it's stayed in between those white lines. We saw, of course, Detroit City FC's second goal coming from Hannah Crum, keeping it in play. So Definitely something to have watched over the course of now 87.5 minutes this afternoon. It's more, I mean, when does it become the evening, really, folks? I don't know if we know what the cutoff is for afternoon, evening. Every evening is an afternoon, but not every afternoon is an evening. It's one of those type deals, so much to think about. Katie Murphy gets it up to Romine. Falls back to Childers. AFC Ann Arbor just kind of blasts one forward as Allison LaPointe's going to have another opportunity to just calmly corral it and then roll it out. That one's going to come all the way to O'Toole. That one's going to come in. O'Looney, just again, the only chances AFC Ann Arbor have been able to create so far tonight have been from these misplaced passes, these awkward bounces. That's how they got their first goal through Permonen, and nearly it was the substitute O'Looney on that occasion who almost gave them their second goal, which at this point in the game would have just been a consolation. So now we see Lily Bosley switch places with Avery Peters. So Lily Bosley now a part of the back line, and Avery Peters is sort of playing as an auxiliary striker. Sophia Romine looks to get Peters involved. Avery Peters dribbles inside, goes for the left-footed strike. That's going to cannon off of an AFC Ann Arbor defender for a corner. So yet another corner for Detroit City FC. 89 minutes gone. An interesting switch between Bosley and Peters. I don't know if Peters just really wants to score a goal, or we're just taking looks at who can fit into what positions when. We mentioned the availability, how much of a factor that plays. That might be some future planning from Dave Dwahey and his staff to see if Bosley, see what she kind of can offer as a defender. Another chance at the corner here for Detroit City. This one's going to come in and into the hands of Holly Brown. Probably the most confident she's looked on a corner so far this evening. The service has been great every time. Just unable to get that lucky bounce here or there for Detroit City FC to make them pay for it. Tefen now has some defending to do. Gets it back to LaPointe. Over to Bosley, who for the first 90% of the time she was on the pitch tonight, it was up top, but now switches places with Avery Peters, so that puts her in a center back position and puts Avery Peters up top. I'd be shocked if it was more up top rather than just in a midfield role. And no stoppage time here from Keyworth Stadium. That will do it. The referee has seen enough, and Detroit City FC picks up its 5th win of the season, coming over AFC Ann Arbor. A great job for LaRouge this evening. 4 goals for LaRouge. All that money going toward Pride Raiser. Again, that's $6,898 going toward the Ruth Ellis Center. Go to social media. Getting your pledges made that goal worth even more. The scoring was started by Sophia Romine, who yet again had an absolute wonder strike to give Detroit City FC the lead. Then Faith Weber on her DCFC debut for 2024 doubled it. And then tonight's woman of the match, you see her right there, Kate Childers, added to the scoring. And it's in the second half, Detroit City FC piled it on and comes away with all 3 points. Detroit City FC next up has a road trip to Cleveland Forest SC this midweek on Wednesday before welcoming Midwest United in a huge clash next weekend at Keyworth Stadium. Thank you guys so much for joining us on CBSDetroit.com on YouTube. I've been Jarrett Mackey. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.